everyone, it's me, Mani. I'm going to be actually helping you guys take your measurements. So this is something that a lot of people have questions about. A lot of our clients cannot actually come into the showroom and are international, so we always take your measurements over a virtual design consultation. But sometimes we find that clients don't know how to do measurements just because maybe they've never used a measuring tape. So I'm just going to sort of walk you guys through the whole process of doing those measurements. So I'm just going to get right into it, but little tips that you guys have to remember before we start your measuring process. Make sure you're wearing something fitted. Make sure you're wearing the correct bra. Do not wear a sports bra when you're doing these measurements because a sports bra would have different measurements than a normal bra. And then the other thing I was going to say is that make sure that you have heels on that you think that you will probably wear that day. And if you have a hair tie, make sure to tie your hair up. And another thing that is sometimes helpful, but maybe not all the time possible, is if you can have somebody with you. They don't actually need to take all of your measurements, maybe just a few of them that you may have trouble doing. So I'm going to get right into it, and basically you're going to open up your entire measuring tape. If you have one of those rolling ones, please make sure to undo the entire thing. So the first measurement that we're probably going to ask for you is your shoulder measurement. So I have a mirror here as well. That's something else that I recommend. Like, put your phone down somewhere where I can see what your measurements are going to be like on your body, but also have a mirror so you can also see as well and cross-check for us. So the first measurement that you're going to do is your shoulder. So it's basically from one shoulder to the other, and you're just going to go from the front. Some people actually take it from the back. So I'm going to kind of look at this, and my shoulder measurement is 14 inches. The next measurement is going to be your overbust. So overbust, what you want to do is bring your measuring tape all the way around, make it even on both sides, and then sort of just bring it up here, and you're going to be measuring the part directly above your bust area. And this is where a hair tie would be real good right now. But basically you're gonna make sure, like in the back, it's not swooping too low. I don't know what that looks like right now, but that's what you wanna make sure. And like, you wanna make sure your elbows are relaxed when you're taking this measurement. Sometimes clients take it like this, and when you take it like this, it actually becomes smaller. So it's important that your elbows are relaxed, and you don't wanna be pinching your skin. So if you see anything being pinched on the sides, that's incorrect. You wanna make sure it's comfortable. And don't worry about adding extra space. That's something that our team does afterwards anyways. But you're just gonna take that measurement and then we would write it down for you. So then the next one that you're gonna take is your bust. So keep your measuring tape right here, shimmy it down slightly, and you're gonna take your bust measurement. And your bust measurement is normally at the part that's the biggest part, which is normally your apex area. So you're gonna take that measurement. Again, you're gonna make sure it kind of aligns with your bra strap if you're wearing a bra at that time. And that measurement, again, make sure your elbows are down when you're taking this. And yeah, I'm not gonna say what my measurement is, but you know, whatever. And then you're gonna, again, shimmy it down a little bit, and you're gonna take your underbust measurement. So your underbust is the part directly above, below your bust area, typically where your underwire is. And you're going to take that measurement, make sure it's good in the back, it's not swooping too low. Once it's perfectly straight, you'll know what that measurement is. And we just need it to the body, make sure you're not pinching. The next measurement that we'll probably need for you is your waist. So waist is normally the smallest part of your natural waist area. It's where our body kind of like indents. So for that, what you're going to do is, this is where the lenga is going to get tied. You're just going to measure around comfortably. And it's important that you do not pinch. You don't want any pinching here either. And you're gonna take the measurement like so. And this is, at this point, you take your finger here and you're gonna take your waist to floor measurement. And so you just bring the measuring tape down, you align it with that same point. This is the part where it may be helpful to get somebody to help you take this measurement. So what I recommend is, if you're by yourself, if you're in front of a mirror, try to see how the measuring tape falls. Don't look down. Some people take their measurement like this, and that will actually change the measurement completely. It'll become less than it's supposed to be. So I'm facing a mirror right now. I'm just gonna like try and step on it and see how like once I stepped on it became like tight. So then you can just like kind of bend down and see what it is. So my waist to floor is 45 inches, but I'm also wearing 3 to 4 inch heels right now. But normally without that, it would be much less. But that's how you measure for something that's sleeveless and just like a normal circle skirt. The other measurements are arm measurements. So those ones are a little bit trickier. So with arm measurements, I always recommend to have someone with you to do these. But if you don't, like there is a way, it's just a little bit trickier. So the first measurement that you're gonna do is your armhole. So your armhole, what you do is you kind of take your measuring tape with like the hand that you're measuring and kind of wrap it around you like a purse. And you're gonna just go all the way around. And that's what it is. And then again, relax your arm. Again, you could tell us exactly what that measurement is. So for me, that's coming up to 16. That doesn't mean that we're gonna make the armhole 16. We're probably gonna add 2 inches so that way you can actually like move around in it. The next measurement that we would need from you is your bicep. It's not lower, it's actually at the fleshiest part of your arm, which is normally right underneath your armpit. So what you're gonna do is again, take your measuring tape, measure around, give us exactly what it is, but make sure it's not pinching you in any way. And like for me, it's 12.5, but we would probably make it 13. And now depending on the length of your sleeve, you're gonna give us your sleeve circumference. So most people are doing like the 11-inch sleeve, so you can give us your above elbow measurement for that. So for that, again, I like to put it in this hand. Again, it's a little bit trickier if you're by yourself. I also have been doing this quite a bit now. Okay, so right now this is measuring at 10.5, but when I bend, the measuring tape actually expands. So make sure you're bending your arms like this when you're taking this measurement, and that is 11.5 versus when it's like this, it's 10.5. So again, even though it's 11.5, we would probably do like 12 for you, just to make sure it's like perfect. You can also give us your below elbow, which you just bring a little bit lower, and you measure like this, and you do the same squeeze thing, and you get the measurement that way. The other measurement that we may need from you is your actual sleeve length. And sleeve length, all you have to do is sort of measure at your shoulder and let us know what sleeve length you want to do. And if you're doing a full sleeve, we'll ask you for your wrist measurement. So what you want to do is you want to take your hands and make them like you're about to wear bangles. So make them as small as possible and measure around your wrist area like this, and then let us know what that measurement is. Measurement that we may need to do if you're ordering something that's made to order is length of top. Like for example, if you want one of our bustiers to be a little bit longer, we are able to do that. So what we do is we ask that you put it right at your shoulder area, right over here, kind of where like the front of your shoulder meets the back of your shoulder. You're gonna take it right over your apex area and measure down. So for me, my shoulder to underbust measurement is 13 inches, and normally our blouses are about 13.5, and that kind of gives me right over here more of like a bustier style. But if you want to go a little bit longer and want something a little bit more modest, we could go to completely 15 inches, which would basically make it a little bit more modest for somebody that's my size, because a skirt would sit right up here and you wouldn't really have any skin showing. Something else that I want to mention is that sometimes clients want to go for a longer top than their waist, and we don't recommend that. So if, for example, 15 inches is more than enough to make this top modest, if I went to 16 inches or 17 inches, what's going to end up happening is the top is going to start bunching in this area. Because as soon as it goes past your natural waist, the top is going to start doing that. And we don't recommend that for fit. So make sure to keep the top length as long as your torso length. So the next set of measurements that you're going to take are for trousers. So if you're purchasing a pair of made-to-order trousers, what you're going to do is you're going to measure your waist, your lower waist, and your hip. So in order to get your waist measurement, it's the same as the lenga measurement. You're just going to measure at the smallest part of your waist and do that, and then you're going to shimmy this down and measure a little bit lower for your lower waist, and that's normally right in between your hip and your natural waist. For me, it's kind of like where my love handles are, so I'm just going to measure over here. And again, make sure you're not squeezing the measuring tape like this where you're getting like pinching. You just want to relax it as well. So for me, this is 37 inches. So after you do your lower waist, you're going to just shimmy the measuring tape a little bit lower to your hip, and your hip is basically the biggest part of your booty. And again, make sure you're not squeezing and you're just getting like the perfect measurements. And keep in mind, if you're doing trousers, a lot of Indian trousers or South Asian wear trousers, they do not have stretch in them. So even if like your measurement is 41, we would probably add like 1.5 or 2 inches to it, so that way you can sit in the trousers afterwards. Other measurements that we may need from you for trousers would be your thighs and your calves and length of trouser. Length of trouser is super easy. Except it's not going to go to the floor unless it's a palazzo, but you would just kind of like maybe figure out ankle length, what you want to do for that. But that's basically all of the measurements, and if you guys have any other questions about taking measurements, just keep in mind we do offer virtual design consultations where we walk you through that process, and we just like doing that more so that way we know exactly what you're taking and we can make sure that the pieces are exactly how they're supposed to fit. Thanks for watching. Like and subscribe.